Gupta ji, former leader, ये Ashok Gupta ji, Mr. Devender Singh, event coordinator, who basically has chased me for all this. And first of all, I will love to congratulate Northex CP Study Circle of NIRC of ICI for hosting a series of webinars on the topics, various topics interesting to the chartered accountant. However, it's very tough to be on this webinar in this tough time of December. I'm really I'm really thankful to the participants for coming to this place in this tough time. This is really a tough time. Till now, the date has been extended. Till now, our Honorable Chief Minister is on screen just few minutes back for the viral, this yellow alert is there. So we have to be very careful for other things. I really pray for everyone's safety. But still, I will like to congratulate everyone connected with Northex CP Study Circle. This is really awesome to think of these kinds of things in tough times. But on the other side, if I say that these are tough times when basically good things happens. Actually, this is a time when no one thinks of meeting his own loved ones. Chartered accountants की तो जिंदगी बड़ी मजेदार है. वो तो घर जाने का भी सपना नहीं देखते बेचारे कितने बजे जाना है. वेबिनार शेड्यूल बहुत चढ़ने जैसा है. I will not take much.
वॉइस ब्रेक हो रही है.
Is it okay, Arun ji?
सर वॉइस ब्रेक हो रही है, पता नहीं क्या बात है आपकी.
हाँ, मैं आप मुझे just give me a minute.
हाँ,
पावर इशू
सर आपका नेट का इशू है सर आपका.
एक दो मैसेज आए मेरे पास. मेरे को भी सही लग रहा है, आवाज थोड़ी सी
नंबर ही नहीं है मेरे पास. दिनेश का
पहले से कुछ ठीक हुआ सर?
जी सर, थोड़ा ठीक है पहले से.
ये मैंने दूसरा नेटवर्क ज्वाइन कर लिया. ठीक है, चलिए, थैंक यू वेरी मच. एंड वी आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन टेक्नोलॉजी नाउ, सो वी आर कांट हेल्प इट आउट.
सर आवाज तो ब्रेक हो रही है अभी भी.
अभी भी हो रही है. अपना कैमरा ऑफ कर रहा हूँ थोड़ी देर के लिए. एक बार सेटल हो जाए.
ठीक है सर, आवाज आप सही आ रहा है, पीपीटी में नजर आ रहा है.
आप कुछ ठीक है?
जी जी बिल्कुल सर. नेटवर्क का थोड़ा सा इशू है सर, इसलिए शायद आप वीडियो बंद कर दीजिए.
वो भी एकदम से पावर फ्लक्चुएट कर गई थी.
जी जी
बढ़िया है ये एकदम मस्त.
चलिए, थैंक यू वेरी मच. चलिए, लेट्स स्टार्ट आवर टॉपिक, रजिस्ट्रेशन एंड टैक्सेशन ऑफ चैरिटेबल एंड रिलीजियस ट्रस्ट. Basically, this topic has again become relevant after August 2021, since we are on the verge of closing of our individual tax returns on 31st of December, and our audits are also very close because we are closing our tax audit reports on 15th of January and 15th of February. We will be filing our returns. I'm taking the original dates without thinking of any extension. However, we can hope for extensions also. That's a different thing. But basically, this topic has again become relevant because due date of filing of this registration under section 10A as the amended section 12AA is 31st of March. And I don't find any chartered accountant who is not working for any of the trust. So everywhere there is somewhere or other, some chartered accountants is connected with trust, societies और रिलीजियस इंस्टीट्यूशंस. बेसिकली कोई मंदिर, गुरुद्वारे, चर्च और मॉस्क होंगे हमारे आसपास, उनका हमें रजिस्ट्रेशंस हैं. उसके अलावा हमारे पास चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट है, क्योंकि कोविड के अंदर चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट बन गया. आई थिंक हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश बोथ विल वर्क सर, नॉट एन इशू ऑन दैट. सिंस यू आर नॉर्थ इंडियंस, तो आई थिंक चलेगा.
चलेगा सर, ठीक चलेगा सर.
ठीक है. So basically 31st of March 2022 is the extended date for filing of Form 10A. Now this 10A is online format. So we have to be careful while filing all that. Now, what are the requirements? What we will be doing in our next slides? Basically, the agenda for today's webinar is, first of all, my question is why we are discussing this issue. What is the need of that we have to discuss this issue? What are the reasons? Then there is a section 115TD. Basically, what happens? The scheme of taxation of charitable trusts, that trust income, is given in section 11 to 13. And when we come in section 11 to 13, basically all other heads of income, basically which comes from section 14 onwards. Section 14 talks about heads of incomes. When it is prior to that, so basically we can call it, it's a headless income. It does not fall under any of the head. It is neither a salary, nor income from house property, nor capital gains, nor other sources, nor business income. It is an income from charitable trusts. This is section 11 to 13. We generally, chartered accountant, reads those sections which are relevant to our agenda, basically 11 to 13. But prior to that, we must read 115TD, that why we have to go for 11. Why we have to get ourselves registered in section 11. Then we will be discussing what are the important sections. Those are applicable to trusts and institutions. Then my next part of my slides will be new scheme of registration under section 12AB. Earlier it was 12AA, now it is 12AB. Then the last segment of that, we will be discussing about filing of annual statement of donation receipt. Now this filing of annual statement has become very relevant this year, because from this year, we have to file another statement of donation received. This is a donation statement basically, which you have to file. And we all are aware about this AIS now. Ek aur jingle hamare haath mein aa gaya hai. We are working on that with that jingle, we have to analyze now AIS also. Now that AIS is telling us how much we have donated to which organization. And earlier the issue was PAN number is not available, that is not there. Even that has been made convenient to us also. Where if the client is not telling, even then we are getting it. If you ask me in last 1 month after getting of this AIS, out of every 3 clients, I am getting 2 clients handling mutual funds or shares in the year 2021. And believe me, this has become very tough. Now we are telling to them, sir, you have dealt into this. And he says, no, I haven't done anything. But the thing is, now they are in trouble. We are asking them, we are telling them who is your tenant, to whom you have issued a receipt for HRA. It is coming under AIS. We'll be touching part of it. However, that will be a separate thing we'll be handling later on. But annual statement of donation is very important now. Now, this is section 115TD, basically, which is very important now. Now, what is this 115TD? If you really read it here, you will find it. This is tax on accredited income. It says, notwithstanding anything contained in this act, wherein any previous year a trust or institution registered under section 12AA or 12AB has converted into any form which is not eligible for grant of registration under section 12AA or 12AB. Now, ye kya keh raha hai? If we have converted ourselves in any form on which grant of registration, now we have to go back to section 2 subsection 15. I will be discussing in coming slides that under section 2 subsection 15, there are definition of charitable is given. Religious trust definition is nowhere given. Religious, basically religion is a faith. Under Income Tax Act, there is no definition of religious trust. So we have to rely on the common parlance and we have to go by that or by the dictionary meanings of that. Now, part number B of 115TD says, merged with any entity other than entity, which is a trust or institution having objects similar to it and registered under section 12AA. If I have merged with any entity which is not registered under 12AA, if I've merged myself with them, I'm in trouble. So this is the applicability And then part C says, fail to transfer upon dissolution all its assets to any other trust or institution registered under section 12AA. अगर मैंने किसी और ट्रस्ट को ट्रांसफर करने में I have failed. You have to recall, my seniors or my age chartered accountants will understand this trust deed. Basically, there has to be a clause. That dissolution clause is mandatory now. In case of dissolution, all the assets will be divulged with another trust of similar objects registered under section 12AA. Earlier I'm talking. Prior to that it was 12A, then 12AA, now it is 12AB. Or to any fund or institution or trust, or any university or other educational institution, or any hospital or any medical institution referred to in clause 4 or subclause 5 or subclause 6 or 6A. So you have to be careful. This 4, 5, 6 and 6A of 1020C or 10 subclause 23C and subclauses are there. Within 12 months, if he has failed to transfer, fails to transfer on dissolution to all these entities, then 1155 TD will be applicable. Then, in addition to the income tax, now this is a warning lines which we have to read, from where the concept of registration will come. People are asking me, log पूछते हैं, सर नहीं कराएं तो क्या होगा? ये क्या होगा का जवाब मैं उस मिथ को यहां ब्रेक कर रहा हूं कि basically if you don't get yourself registered under section 12AB, what is going to happen with you? Sir, this is a mandatory clause. It is not a voluntary clause. People think it's a voluntary one, but believe me, it is not voluntary. It is a mandatory clause. You have to get yourself registered. No other option left with you. Then, in addition to the income tax chargeable, in respect of the total income of such income of trust or institution, the accredited income of the trust or the institution as on the specified date shall be charged to tax, and such trust or institution, as the case may be, shall be liable to pay additional tax referred to as tax on accredited income at the MMR, maximum marginal rate on the accredited income. Sir, this is in addition to the normal taxation on that. So believe me, ये अलग से maximum marginal tax 30% plus surcharge लगा के you have to pay additional tax on that. This is not only that. So you can imagine how it is going to affect everybody in that case. I think my voice is okay now. If somebody can say it, then I can keep my camera on. That will make me more lively. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. So anyway, so this is the reason. This was the question why we are discussing about registration. This is section 115T basic TD basically pushes me towards section 11. I have to get myself registered. Only then in that case I have to do. Otherwise it is not. Now, if I go ahead, it says for the purposes of subsection 1. Now I'm going to clause 1 again. It says, if I go back, just give me a minute. Yes, 1. Notwithstanding anything a trust registered under section so-and-so has converted into any form which is not eligible for grant of registration, merged with any entity. If I go with that, now it says, for the purposes of subsection 1, a trust or an institution shall be deemed to have been converted into any form. The word is deemed to have been converted. जैसे ही आपने नहीं किया, आपको मान लेंगे आप convert हो गए into any form not eligible for registration in a previous year if part number 1, the registration granted to it under section 12AA has been cancelled, or it has been adopted or undertaken modification of its objects which do not conform to the conditions of registration. So इसका मतलब कुछ condition of registrations भी आ रही हैं registration certificate के साथ. अब तो बहुत सारे certificates लोगों को मिल गए, so we can now look at the certificate format and everything is there. And part number B, part number A, and has not applied for. Now this is the line which makes mandatory. These are my personal views, my dear friends. Lots of people I have heard which says it is not mandatory, it is my choice. But by reading this line, I go by this formula that we have to get it registered. or be ready to pay taxes plus additional MMR. It says has not applied for fresh registration under section 12AA or 12AB in the said previous year, or has filed application for fresh registration under section 12AA or 12B, but said application has been rejected. मैंने अप्लाई किया था, नहीं किया, आई एम पुश्ड बैक टू डीमिंग प्रोविजन. मैंने अप्लाई किया, रिजेक्ट हो गया, आई एम पुश्ड बैक अगेन. सो ट्रस्ट के एसेट्स जो भी हैं एमएमआर पे जाके टैक्स हो जाएंगे, जो नॉर्मल टैक्स लगना है वो उसके ऊपर लगेगा. अब हम चलते हैं. अब हमने पढ़ा, we have just gone through that why this is to be done. I will be taking some time on this taxation, and then we will be discussing about registration procedure, basically, which is more important in today's scenario, because all these sections can be read by reading the Bare Acts, and we all are in the habit of reading. That's the reason we are visible on these screens. It is not easy for any person to go here. Now, this is important definition. Section 2, subsection 15 talks about charitable trust. Section 10, subsection 23, subsection clause 3, exempt income clauses hain isme. We have to discuss there. Section 11 to 13, which we were talking about, that talks about income from property held for charitable or religious purposes. Then comes income of trust or institutions from contributions. So basically the 11 says held for charitable religious purposes, income, and 12 talks about voluntary contribution. 12AB, which has been recently put into, that is procedure for registration. And then we talk about section 13, which talks about section 11 not to apply in certain cases. So we will be discussing about all that. So now we have to go for first section 2 subclause 15. What is that? There are some people will say that why we are discussing all this. Basically, this is very much required to understand the concept of trust and why we are going here for all that. Section 2 subsection 15 talks about charitable purposes, including relief to the poor. Part number 2, education. Yoga has been added, we know, few years back. Then medical relief. Then talks about environment, which is now we talk about pollution and all that, so it has been already added. Preservation of environments, including watersheds, forests, and wildlife. And preservation of monuments or places or objects of artistic or historic intent. Then the advancement of any other object of general public utility. सिर्फ ये 6 क्लॉजेस हैं जो चैरिटेबल पर्पसेस में आते हैं. इसके अलावा नहीं आते हैं कोई भी ऐसा कि we can talk about others. Now there are exemption provisions. If I talk about exemption provisions, they are established for charitable and religious purposes. They are entitled for exemptions. Exemptions always, we all know difference between deductions and exemptions. Section 10 talks about exemptions. So we will be talking about section 10 later on. The trust must be carrying on charitable activity covered under provisions of section 215. We talked earlier. What is 215? We have discussed. So now these are the eligible trust is required to make an application. We discussed in 115 TD that eligible trust is required to maintain. Now exemption is governed by section 11 to 13. We have already understood. Now one needs to understand the intricacies of these sections to properly appreciate the requirement of that. Now I am taking only particular sections of section 10 subsection 23C. We are not talking about the whole section 10, which is not relevant. It is only relevant sections to the trusts particularly. These are here. This is a specific exemption section available to certain government and non-government universities and educational institutions. I'm talking about section 10, 23 capital C, Roman 3AB. Income derived or received by any university or educational institution existing solely sirf for sirf educational purposes ke liye ho, and not for the purpose of profit, and which is wholly or substantially financed by government, is fully exempt. If it is financed by government, fully exempt. मेरे ख्याल से it is not much relevant to all of us because we generally do not do those kinds of audits except few people, few big firms who must be doing. For small chartered accountants firms, basically they are not handling it to it. A government educational institution is fully exempt. The exemption for non-government private educational institutions depends upon the aggregate annual receipts. And we all know earlier it was 1 crore, now it is 5 crores. Basically, we are talking about universities, educational institutions who are fully into education. Now there is a 5 crore turnover. Now I'm taking another section 3AD. This talks about the income earned by any university or education existing solely for educational purposes and not for the purpose of profit shall be exempt from tax if the aggregate annual receipts 5 crores we have discussed. Thus, an educational institution can claim full exemption. It is important to note that annual receipts has not been defined under the law. Basically, this, in my opinion, this includes fee and charges collected by the university in total. It is not only educational receipt, this is in total. If you're getting more than 5 crores, up to 5 crores, you can avail this exemption. Now, if we talk about non-educational, this is again universities 5 crores, basically 6A, 1023 6A. Now, इसमें अगर आप ध्यान से देखेंगे तो verbatim कोई difference नहीं है. Only the cases, in their case, it's educational. Here, the word medical has been inserted. So I'm not spending much time on these two sections because it's educational and medical. Government are fully exempted and non-government up to 5 crores of turnover are exempted. Now I'm coming straight to section 11, basically, which is directly affecting all of us. Basically, to whom it affects. Section 11 is touching those trusts who are holding any property in trust wholly for charitable purposes or religious purposes. Now people can say, sir, property to hai nahi. Sir, here the meaning of property does not mean immovable property. This includes movable property also. So the day any trust is created with 1 rupee, 1100 rupees, 11,000 rupees, or 11 lakhs, or 11 crores, or any figure, I can put any zeros to it. Basically, that is a property held in trust. So whatever money is being holded as a trustee in a trust comes under the definition of property. So basically, this includes both. So cash, bank balance, fixed deposits, securities, everything comes here. Now, the second limb of the condition for this section 11 is the trust must have been created wholly for charitable purposes. Sir, it cannot be partly. It has to be wholly for charitable or wholly religious. Partly नहीं हो सकता. बहुत थोड़ा सा portion हमें permit किया था religious और charitable के बीच में जब पीछे amendment आया था. But it does not allow fully. It says wholly for charitable purposes and wholly for religious. So even Ram Janmabhoomi Trust is also a wholly religious purposes. So similarly, all temples, mosques, churches, and gurdwaras, they come under wholly for religious purposes. So there is a view sometimes that if you are running, maintaining a temple in your nearby locality, you cannot, this exemption. So this is very much there. It should not be carrying any business except to limits laid down in section 2, subsection 15. There is a condition under section 215. It was amended few years back. I think the people of my age, but today this topic is not on this, so I will be skipping this and going to my registration part faster. So the objects of the trust should be charitable, covered within the meaning of section 215. We have already discussed 215, but it has to be covered. Now, this exemptions under section 11 is available if the the income has been applied to charitable purposes. 85% of that we all know has to be applied. So I'm going right. Income of the trust and properties utilized for charitable purposes in India. It is not abroad, it is in India. Income of the property of the trust does not ensure the benefit of the settler. Kahin se bhi, if the settler or his relatives or anybody cannot take the advantage of that trust, that money doesn't go back to him. Now, I'm coming to section 11, subsection 7, which is basically very relevant in this topic today and is being discussed. Again, it will come back after 31st of December. शायद सबको याद आना शुरू हो जाएगा. मैंने थोड़ी मेहनत आज ज्यादा जो की है. My motive was basically to make you take out from that AIS of individual tax returns to somewhere to the charitable trust, which you have to take up in another 2 days. So you can call it a refresher course for you, and you can read it in that lines. Now comes time limit for making application for revival application is this. I'm talking about section 12 AB. I will be putting registration part later, but I'm some of the tidbits I'm putting here. You have to apply 6 months prior to the expiry of your registration. Time limit of approval, now it is 5 years. Infinity का जमाना चला गया. Conditions अब check होंगी sir. Your objects will be checked up. Genuineness of activities and compliance as it is check होंगी. But provisional registration immediately grant कर दिया जाएगा. But in case of renewal or in case of pre-existing trust, they will check it up. They are issuing registration certificates immediately on application within a certain time limit, and you will get it. Now exemption will be available. Assessment year immediately following the financial year in which application is made. So you will understand that you have to apply in one previous year and you will get the benefit in next assessment year, as we always get in previous year assessment concept. Approval or registration within 6 months, they have time to do it. Now question comes, where a trust or an institution has been granted registration or has obtained registration 12A and the said registration is in force, and similarly that also registered under section 1023C. Now what will happen to those? बहुत सारे ऐसे ट्रस्ट है, मैं भी जानता हूं, जो दोनों में रजिस्टर्ड थे. Sometimes they were availing 1023C and sometimes they were availing 12A benefits. So now that has been taken away. Now they have to decide which way they want. If they think that their turnover can cross 5 crores, they should immediately go for 12A. However, my suggestion is everybody should apply for 12A. Later on, you can think over, at least get a registration which you are getting very easily in a provisional manner, in a mechanical system. I think one should get it off. Now comes, such registration shall become inoperative from the date on which the trust or institution is approved under clause 1023C. So the thing which I was saying, that get it registered under 12A, and if your application 1023 is sanctioned later on, it is approved, this 12A will become inoperative. It's okay. You enjoy your both benefits accordingly, not a major issue. Now, if you feel that my 1023 has become inoperative, go for 12A. I'm going. Yes. What is religious purposes? I'm going faster now. Let us go ahead. The expression. As I told you earlier, that religious purposes has not been defined. Religious purposes are necessarily associated with religion only. It's a matter of faith with individuals or communities. This is a system of beliefs or doctrines. It is not a system of mechanical law. It is not, I don't call it a science. It's a question of faith. I may be believing something. Advancement, support, or propagation of a religion and its tenets. So basically, आप देखिए, आप अपने religion को advancement कीजिए, no problem. Support कीजिए, आप propagate कीजिए. But certainly, conversion इससे बाहर है, वो इसके अंदर cover नहीं होता है. किसी भी religion को ये right नहीं है कि वो किसी के साथ, किसी लोभ के साथ या किसी greed के साथ किसी को अपनी तरफ attract करे. You can do your, if somebody likes one religion, he can get himself converted, but at least not with the other parts of it. We all understand what I'm talking about. The income of a religious trust or institution is entitled to exemption, even though it is for the benefit of one religion or community. You can find a Maheshwari Dharamshala or a Agrawal Dharamshala mentioned there that they allow only Agrawals. So basically law permits to them. So don't get angry on that. It is their choice. So law permits to them. This exemption is available to public religious trust. But that Maheshwari Dharamshala or Agrawal Dharamshala, they cannot restrict any man from the public, person from the public. Everybody is permitted. They can say, okay, priority will be given to them. Generally, they go by that. I think that's not an issue. Private religious trusts are not covered under the definition of section 11. So we have to go out. They are neither religious, nothing. If your personal kisi ka mandir hai, if some industrialist holding his own mandir and public is not allowed, he will not be entitled for the benefit of this. So one need to be, I have just added one line that one need to be very careful while interpreting the objects of the trust. Now this is denied. As I told you earlier, that one has to be very careful while drafting. So basically you will have to be on only section 12A or 1023C. So dual registration is not permitted now. Earlier who was there, now they are up to 31st March 21, it was there, now it is 22, you can say. Earlier law. Now I'm coming of section 12A of the before amendment, prior to this amendment. This deals with conditions of applicability of section 11 and 12, where section 11 determine income from property held for charitable purposes, and section 12 determine income of trust. They both section allows exemptions, but section 12A mandates requirement of registration. Now 12AB. 12 talks about amend registration. Earlier registration to be have been granted under section 12AA. Now it will be granted under section 12AB. So we will be applying under section 12AB only. Now I'm coming to section 12. I'm sorry, I'm putting some boring here because actually these three sections are treated to be very tough sections under whole Income Tax Act, or Income Tax gimmick. If you say, you can read any of the sections, but section 11 to 13 are treated as tough nuts. Am I connected, Devendra ji? Okay. You were in a lazy mode, so I thought कि अब शायद मैं connect नहीं. I thought I was closer.
नहीं, आप तो चेक कर रहे हो कि हम सुन रहे हैं या सब अपना अपना काम कर रहे हैं.
मुझे चेक करना पड़ेगा ना सर, मैं क्या करूं?
मैं तो सुन रहा हूँ जी. सभी सुन रहे हैं जी.
Let's start. Section 12 talks about any voluntary contributions received by a trust created wholly for charitable or religious purposes or by any institution established wholly for such purposes. तो basically यहाँ पे आपके AOPs भी आते हैं, आपके सेक्शन 8 कंपनीज भी आएंगी, ट्रस्ट भी आएंगे, सोसाइटीज भी आएंगी, जिसका पर्पस चैरिटेबल है. नॉट बीइंग कंट्रीब्यूशंस मेड विद ए स्पेसिफिक डायरेक्शन. अब हम वॉलंटरी कंट्रीब्यूशन की बात कर रहे हैं सर. इफ सम कंट्रीब्यूशन हैज बीन मेड विद ए स्पेसिफिक डायरेक्शन, देन it is not called as it's called as voluntary contribution with specific, and it is not taxable anywhere. It is not, application of income is not required in that case. Shall for the purposes of section 11 be deemed to be income derived from property held under trust wholly for charitable or religious purposes, and the provisions of that section and section 13 shall apply accordingly. So basically 11 we were talking about property held under charitable trust, income on that. Now we are talking about contributions, basically donations, contributions of educational institutions कैसे कैसे पैसा लेती हैं, हॉस्पिटल कैसे पैसा लेते हैं. We all have seen in COVIDs also, and lots of things happened. So this has become more relevant now in the light of the third wave, which we are now fearing to face. The value of any services, being medical or educational services, made available by any charitable or religious trust running a hospital or medical institution or an educational institution, is a contribution to any person referred to in clause A, clause B or clause C or CC, section 13(3) में जब हम जाएंगे तो वहां जाके देखते हैं, shall be deemed to be the income of such trust or institution derived from property held under trust wholly for charitable purposes during the previous year in which such services are so provided, and shall be chargeable to income tax notwithstanding the provisions of subsection 1 of section 11. If I go with explanation of this, value shall be the value of any benefit or facility granted or provided free of cost or any concessional rate to any person referred to in clauses of section 13(3). I think all are there, A, B, C, double C and D. Now I'm going for subclause 3 of section 12. Any amount of donation received by the trust. So ये donation की बात करता है. In the manner specified in that clause or which has been utilized for the purposes other than relief to the victims of earthquake in Gujarat, ये पुराना लिखा हुआ as it is आज तक है, and not transferred to the Prime Minister Relief Fund. This is a joke. चलिए साहब, now I'm coming to the next part of it. Yes, I'm just. Now I'm coming to, sir, the main screen, basically for which we are today gathered on that. This is scheme of registration. So basically what has happened, why we are discussing this, this is here. So what are the key objectives? Sir, लाए क्यों, क्या जरूरत पड़ी थी, अच्छा भला सिस्टम चल रहा था. वैसे तो ये सवाल हम लोग वेबसाइट के लिए भी पूछ रहे हैं कि सर अच्छी बड़ी वेबसाइट चल रही थी, लाए क्यों, पर सरकार से सर कौन पूछेगा. तो अच्छा वाला 12AA चल रहा था, तो why, what was the need of bringing this amendment at this time when all are in trouble? However, this came prior to that and it could not implement, then it was extended and then came here. So basically the objectives which was given in that memorandum is they needed improvement with the advent of technology and keeping in mind the practical issue of difficulty in obtaining registration, approval, notification. We all know what kind of problems we were facing for getting the registration of a trust. We all remember that 28 questionnaire, and after that going to the department of exemption, talking to the inspector, giving all the papers, photographs and all that of the activities and how they were being prepared. I'm not going into that detail. We can discuss somewhere in private forum, but actually situation was that only. So basically government wanted to make an improvement to adopt the technology for us as well as for them. But I feel the other way around. I feel the other way around, that department does not have the documents even. If I have lost my certificate of registration in this period of last 70 years, 61 Act is there, so you can calculate from there, 60 years has passed. So for last 60 years, if a trust was registered and there is no certificate, even those trustees are not there. Because in my opinion, the question of trust comes to mind when you touch 50. No, we don't find any philanthropist in our countries at the age of 30. At the age of 30, we are basically just to make money and dunya kar lo mutti mein. But when we touches 50, then the question comes that I have been blessed by the society. Now it is my time to give it back. So basically, in my opinion, those trustees are not there. They are not in this world because you can just calculate their ages and all that. And after that, even whatever trust were registered, even they don't remember numbers and all that. And one more thing is there, that government is going to see the assets lying under charitable trusts. The property is lying with them. After registration of these trusts, whatever trusts are left out, basically they will be covered under section 115 TD. If they are covered under section 115D, being a non-registered and there is no one to contest, we all can imagine what is going to happen in that case. All money belongs to the government only, because this is not going to private person back. So all these trusts and institutions which are in religious places, as far as being a Hindu, I know in Haridwar and all these my places of worships are there, but this dharamshalas and trust, crores of rupees or properties are lying with them. Where it will go if they are not registered on section 12AB? What is going to happen? Lot of dispute will be over after that, because there is a litigations within Mathadishis and all that which is going on. So in my opinion, this is the other way around also. The backdrop is there, but they have mentioned here that they need improvement with the advent of technology and keeping in mind the practical issue of difficulty in obtaining registration. So they are solving it, as the process was manual and scattered all over the country. The second part is to make the process of registration completely electronic with 16-digit unique registration number. So after that, just put the number and you know where this trust is, who are the trustees, how much donations they have collected, to whom they have issued receipts. So all things are there, basically, which is going to help us after this. Approval or registration or notification for exemption should also be for a limited period. Now, here actually, honestly speaking, it's a shocker to all of us. For a small trust, applying for renewal or registration every 5 years is a tough job. It was there earlier in 5 years, then it was withdrawn, then it was made in infinite. But again, I couldn't find any reason. Once you have all rights of denial of registration, you have all rights of objections, you can issue any time a notice for cancellation. You have already taken that power also. We'll be discussing in next part of it. Then there is no use of this, that you are putting it for 5 years. However, law is law. We have to live with it. We can't help it out. We can just talk about it only. Now, the second part of this is basically to ensure that the conditions of approval or registration or notifications are adhered to for want of continuous exemption. So every 5 years, they will be asking for certain documents, certain informations. So basically, this will be electronic. So it will be smooth sailing between the two. It's a seamless communication between government and the basically trustees or the stakeholders, you can say. So basically, for that purpose, they have come out. Now, basically, they are coming out with a non-adversarial regime. And they don't want to make any roving inquiries. I think they are already, Supreme Court has said in so many cases that no roving inquiries, because you cannot ask any information from me and can use it against me. My constitution says, gives me this exemption. But in this case, this happens because for the trust information, we have to take it. And lots of controversies were there, lots of objections were there, which has been sorted out. Now there is sense to facilitate the registration of the new charitable institutions, which is yet to start. Actually, we all people of, I think, 40s for the chartered accountants for the last 15 years, 20 years, they must be knowing that there was an egg and hen situation. I applied for a registration. The department was saying, bring evidence that you have done charity. I was saying, sir, certificate do to karu. Now question comes, aap certificate dete nahi, मैं charity करूं कैसे? तो उन्होंने कहा okay, अगर if we are the hurdle between two, let us take our foot back. Now what is going to happen? You apply in a complete format with the documents as desired by us. Take the registration from us. We don't mind. Once that is taken, now you come out. Anytime government can ask for the director exemption. Ask us. Okay, bring the details. So they basically take it. Now we are coming out with glimpses of new scheme of registration. Basically, they are effective 1st of April 2021. So only the application time has been extended to 31st March 2022. Otherwise, it is basically from the due to COVID it has been done. New section has replaced NGOs registered prior to 1/4/21 are required to make an application again under new scheme of registration, and they have to get registration under section 1020C and 12A, whatever is there. Now, concept of perpetuity of registration is withdrawn. I have told you it's 5 years only. I'm not spending much more time on this. Every 5 years it will be renewed, but provisional registration will be given you for 3 years, and after 3 years you have to apply for regular registration, which will be for 5 years. But believe me, that has to be done 6 months prior to that. Now I'm talking about just section 13. Section 13 talks about basically the circumstances where exemption under section 11 and 12 would not be available. मैं ज्यादा समय इस पे नहीं लगाना चाहूंगा. Basically, these are those basically conditions which are in violative of section 11-12. As I told you that if settler basically takes the benefits out of it, or it is not going on the conditions of it, so basically it is that. So I'm not putting much time on it. Let us go ahead. This is one part of it. If anybody runs, then again it talks about benefits of a purpose. I've just told it here. Let us not. These are all basically some examples which you can see. Granting of loans without interest or any element of security, usage of property without any consideration for payment, rent ही नहीं ले रहे, excessive payment made to persons made 13(3) में दे दिए, services of the trust are availed by the persons, remuneration दे दिया, purchase of property from the persons, 13(3) में there is a basically ये people हैं जो author है, उसके जो basically हम सब लोग रिलेटिव की डेफिनेशन समझते हैं, उसी से मिलते जुलते जो है रिलेटेड पार्टी जो है उसकी बात करता है. सो आई एम नॉट गोइंग इनटू मच डिटेल, जस्ट पुटिंग दिस. डाइवर्ट कर दिए फंड्स, सब्सटेंशियल इंटरेस्ट ले लिया, सेक्शन. यस, नाउ आई एम कमिंग टू दैट पार्ट बेसिकली ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन, हाउ दिस रजिस्ट्रेशन विल डन. आई थिंक बाय नाउ लॉट्स ऑफ थिंग्स हैज बीन सेटल्ड नाउ, बट स्टिल सिंस दिस इज अ PPT mode, so there are some of the fresh chartered accountants are there who just want to understand what is this. Go to income tax website. This is income tax e-filing nahi hai friend, this is income tax India now. This is changed now. 10A kariye. This is the form basically जिसके बारे में हम बात कर रहे हैं. ये वो form है सर जो हमें देखना है. How it has to be filled up, let us talk about that. You have to be very careful for PAN number, it will be auto pre-filled, nothing to do. Section code, nature of activities. Now you will see there are 3 categories, sir. Charitable, religious, and religious cum charitable. If you recall under section 12, there were only 2 categories. Wholly charitable, wholly religious. But here is making one more category here. So you can choose if your contribution to religious is not more than 5%, then you can come here. Type of constitution is there. Established under which instrument is there. So every people ask me generally, sir, what instrument? Whatever instrument is there for registration. If you have it, it's okay. Otherwise, you can make it for the past. You can get a certified copy from the registrar of societies. You can get a trust deed copy from the sub registrar. You can find it, not an issue. Date of incorporation is very simple. Registration or incorporation number is not a major issue. Then authority granting registration, again, it's a very simple that who gave you the registration. So it is always either sub registrar or registrar of societies, registrar of trust. In Mumbai, there are charity commissioner is also there who registers. Then objects of the applicant has to be mentioned here. So sir, be careful. Object, because now whatever objects you are filling here, you have to work on that. You have noticed earlier that if you are diverting from that your objects, your registration can be cancelled. So basically your objects has to be matching with that. So try to do whatever you don't want to do, even for small period or small amount, even then you should put it here so that you're not covered under the definition of diversion. Then comes, there is a trust deed contains clause that trust is irrevocable. Lots of people ask this question also, sir, why this is there? Now generally every trust deed contain irrevocable clause. Yes, it is true, sir. But prior to a certain period, there were trusts basically which was registered before earlier amendment. Even revocable trust was there who have been granted registration under section 12AA. Now they are asking you whether your trust has or not. Because under section 61 of the Income Tax Act, it says if it is a revocable trust, I can read it for you. Just I'm fond of reading these sections. I don't know how much you will be liking it. It says revocable transfer of assets. All incomes arising to any person by virtue of a revocable transfer of assets shall be chargeable to income tax as the income of the transferor and shall be included in his total income. So if I'm transferring some property to a revocable trust, it will be added to my income. Now, if you are registered under Darpan or FCRA, actually what they are doing now, income tax, FCRA, Niti Aayog, all at three places, your societies and trusts are registered basically for the benefit of grants, subsidies and all that. So now they are combining all that. So whatever you are saying in FCRA, be careful, you are saying the similar thing in income tax. Similarly, whatever you are saying in Niti Aayog, Darpan, portal, be careful that similar things are being quoted here. You are not going beyond that. So relevant law oblique portal, if any other registration is there, as I told you that charity commissioner is there, you can put it here. Date from which registration is effective. If any application for registration in the past has been rejected, you have to mention it here. It's a similar form 10A form which we used to file. Similar thing is there. Now it talks about author's details. Now be careful. I would suggest everyone to read the instructions prior to filling this form. Actually, that is very important. Some people basically skip that and they ask the question straight away. But actually, believe me, there are ways. If you read it there, all section codes are there. You can read it from there. And accordingly, you can decide which thing to be filled. And don't try to fill. Don't make a fraudulent information anywhere. You are not being spared for that. So now authors, basically serial number, name, relation, percentage, unique identification number is Aadhaar number is mandatory now. Actually, this government loves Aadhaar. So everywhere they are putting Aadhaar and basically they are not going to spare us anywhere. So now Aadhaar is there. You have to do it. Any of the persons, natural persons agar hai, details of the natural persons who are beneficial owners, 5% or more, they have to be put here. Now it comes question number 10, which is very important. Return of income filed है या नहीं है. जब आप इसको yes कर देंगे, सर ये फिगर ऑटोमेटिकली प्रीफिल हो जाएगी. ये आधे से ज्यादा फॉर्म प्रीफिल होके आएगा. देखने में आपको कॉम्प्लिकेट लग रहा है, पर ये आधे से ज्यादा प्रीफिल हो जाता है, तो बहुत थोड़ी इंफॉर्मेशन देनी है. पर अगर आप नो करते हैं, तो अब आप ध्यान से पढ़िए इसके अंदर, इसकी इंस्ट्रक्शंस में जब आप जाएंगे, the details in row 11 to 19 are to be provided as on the date of application. It's talking about as on date. It is not talking about 31st March. So be careful. If your figures are no, then you have to fill it for as on date of application. And try to complete the application as you do, because in one day, and tell the trustees not to withdraw any amount or anything till the application is complete. Now there are other assets received in 3 previous year grants received. This all will be filled automatically, or if not filled, then you have to put it manually. And I think earlier there was some technical glitches also. I was filing my trust returns for last 3 years, but it was showing me as no. It was not allowing me to say yes. And it was issuing me provisional registration for 3 years. But that has been now been rectified. And even we put some grievances also that has been done. So this is the basically instructions which I was talking about. You can read these instructions, and with this you can choose your section code, which we were talking about on the upper side. This is here. This is section code. You have to select it from here. This is here. These are all conditions. These are all 7 conditions of charitable purposes, and basically religious purposes, then there is something different. So then clauses are there. Research associations, universities, that is for the purpose of 1023C, you will find from there, section 35. Now this is relevant law oblique portal is talking about jurisdiction detail. This, all instructions are there. So if you really go through, I'm taking you to some screenshots of income tax portal, which we have taken. This is here. This is from earlier was the PDF form structure, which we are going to fill up. Now these are income tax real-time screenshots, and I will take you to the last slide of this screenshot, which will explain you that why it is so important to be careful for the professionals I'm talking about, that it is very important for them to be careful. If any questions are there, we can take Arunji, Devendraji, or we will take it at the end of the session. I don't mind. Rajesh, questions, if some questions are there, we can take it before going ahead, or we can take it at the end of the session. You are muted, sir. You are muted. Rajesh, you are on mute.
Just a minute. Sir, last में ले लीजिए, please, sir.
That's wonderful, sir. That's wonderful. So basically, now I'm taking the screen shots of the real-time income tax screenshots taken from there while filing the application under section this 12AB 10A form. This is first, you will see that it is asking for the section code because PAN number is pre-filled, so we have left it. Nature of activities is talking about in 3 parts. I had told you. Type of constitution it is there. Whether the application is established under an instrument, you have to put it there. Date of incorporation. So we have to just put it there. If department has the relevant information, they will pre-fill it. Some of the clauses will be editable, some of will not be. So that will be there. Now, object of the applicant, you will see that there are check boxes are there. So one has to be very careful that when I'm ticking off, either you have to tick it on the selective one on which you are working. So accordingly, we'll be taking it here. Now, deed consent revocable clause is there. So this I'm taking here. Darpan registration, yes, no. Sabse best part kya hai, the moment you say yes, only then that button will open up. Otherwise, there is no need. No, if you say no, it will go ahead. But it will not permit you to go on the next slide prior to completion of the complete questions. When you say that application has been rejected, immediately it will ask for details. Otherwise, it is not. If you are taking any exemption under section 1021, it will ask you. Now he's asking for detail of key persons. You have to put all details here. This is all online form, so nothing is there. Now, this is the important thing which I wanted to show it to you, that you will see I have just basically tried to conceal this name and PAN number. If you really see the place, sir, this place is of chartered accountant IP address, sir. So be careful, sir. FCRA में clause है, sir. If I am filing an application for FCRA for my client, so believe me, sir, I have to be careful because I am equally responsible. I am issuing a certificate that I have explained all the clauses of FCRA to the client. Similar here, they are going on the same lines. So be careful. Your IP addresses are very much there. So it is very clear. Department can catch you hold in few minutes that who filled up, who had done filing of this application. It is not a tough job for them, but believe me, it is going to be a tough for those who are doing it. So if any false or wrong or inaccurate information is filled up and that is intentional, mens rea is there. Sir, we are not going to spare. So this is there. Now this is basically what is the conditions. If you are having 12-year registration existing, you will apply within 3 months. Now, this is the extended date of 31st March 2022, and commissioner or PC to pass order within 3 months. If you are having registration under 12AB, now some of the cases are there. In August, these cases were not there because we were applying afresh. Now it is there. So whenever that registration is expiring, you have to apply 6 months prior to the expiry. So since you have to apply within 6 months prior to expiry, one more thing is there. In case of renewal, department will take more information. They will be asking for utilization of earlier funds also. As in case of FCR, technology is playing its role like. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fortunately connected fast this time. On the screen I have to share again. My screen is also visible, sir.
सर अभी नहीं है सर, अभी अब हाँ सर आ गया सर.
No, I'm at the same screen. I have to go back to one slide or it's okay.
सर आई थिंक बैक जाना पड़ेगा. टाइमलाइन रिलेटेड टू न्यू रजिस्ट्रेशन प्रोसेस अंडर न्यू सेक्शन 12 AB में चल रहा है.
I think the first slide was going on. Let me just give me a minute. Yes. Now, anyway, this was not a major disruption. In a few minutes, I think it happened. Anyway, this basically is we have to apply by 31st of March 2022, and department will give a sanction by within 3 months. Similarly, in case of renewal, we have to apply 6 months prior to the expiry, and department will take 6 months. Now, in case of renewal, department will make more inquiries. They will inquire each and everything, how my earlier funds has been utilized, how this has gone with that. So basically, they are also taking 6 months to inquire each and everything. So that is there. So now, if I go the next slide. In case of renewal also, I've told you that this is 6 months. Then if your registration has become inoperative due to first proviso of section 11 subsection 7, then you have to apply in 10 AB 6 months prior to the commencement of the assessment year. It means मुझे March 22 के लिए apply करना है तो मेरी due date 1st October हो जाएगी. And department will also take 6 months for that. So next is, now I'm talking about the most important part of this amendment. Basically, if I made some amendments, I have to intimate department within 30 days from the date of sub adoption or modification. If any condition I have of registration I have amended. Now what happens? Like in case of any amendment, generally हमें तो आदत नहीं है सर, ट्रस्टी कहाँ आता है 3 महीने में सर, पहुंचता ही नहीं. 30 days में कहाँ आके इंटीमेट करता है? It doesn't come to us. So when it doesn't come, so we have to be very careful that within 30 days we have to apply, and department will take 6 months to decide time to allow or refuse or approve that basically modification. Now, in case of any other case, including provisional registration, I have to apply 1 month prior to the commencement of the previous year. So February, 1st of March से पहले मुझे कर देना है. 28 फरवरी मेरी लास्ट डेट है. Any other case, अगर provisional registration. Now, this is simple, sir. Nothing special in this case. This is only self-certified copy of the instrument under which the trust oblique institution was created. So this is all self-certified documents. ROC सेक्शन 8 के लिए सर उधर जाना पड़ेगा, रजिस्ट्रार ऑफ फर्म्स के लिए रजिस्ट्रार ऑफ फर्म्स, सोसाइटीज के लिए रजिस्ट्रार ऑफ सोसाइटीज, पब्लिक ट्रस्ट, whichever is applicable. Now, since they talked about FCRA, Darpan, every registration. So once they are talking about that, so accordingly, we have to also see that we need a FCRA registration also. Copy to be filed on it. This has to be annexed, self-certified. Similarly, previous order, section 12, 12A or 12AA. As I told you, it was 12, then 12A, all registration certificates. Then annual report. Now there is a controversy. Some people say that why we should annex 3 years annual reports if they already have 3 years data available to them. I was filing my return, so they have everything. But my suggestion is, sir, you know how this bureaucracy works. If you don't file and they don't see your documents on screen, what will happen to that, sir? In that case, we are in trouble, not they. So there are chances that we get some problem in that case and it gets registration. We get rejection on that. Now, section code, I have suggested you be careful while selecting. For revalidation of 12AA, it is, I'm just giving you a tip. That if you are going for revalidation of 12AA, put 01. And for ATG, you have to put 11. And one more thing, however, this has been clarified now by everyone, that you have to apply twice, sir. One for the registration under section 12AB and then under section for ATG. So 12A and ATG. For both we have to apply. It is not one. If you apply one, you will not get for ATG. So you have to apply for both separately. Documents has to be annexed separately. It is a double exercise. Can't help it out. Be careful by selection of object. I'm saying again and again because I know these are the mistakes which will convert to into a litigation in future, unnecessary litigation, and this will be a problem. Now in point number 6, basically there is a word trust. So even if societies or companies, you have to mention trust because for income tax purposes, section 11 talks about trusts only. They take it as a trust income. Darpan ID is mandatory if you receive government grant or intend to receive. आपकी इच्छा है या आपको मिलती है. दोनों cases में आपको Darpan ID mandatory है. And if you have not mentioned it here, it will not be mentioned on your certificate and it will be a problem for you for that. FCRA registration number should be given wherever applicable. Registration under other provisions of income tax. All documents, settler, trustee details has to be given. Unique identification number shall be PAN. If you are putting PAN, put 01 and then put PAN. If you are putting Aadhaar, then you have to put 02 and other. There is a list of documents given in the instructions. You have to go by that, understand that, and accordingly you will be doing that. If any person holds more than one capacity, believe me, repeat his name. Otherwise it doesn't take, because it takes president, secretary, treasurer, blah 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 blah. अगर किसी का आदमी 2 जगह है, प्लीज उसको ले लीजिए. की पर्सन में है तो ले लीजिएगा. Now I'm coming to the other part, power of cancellation, which department has now acquired. So basically, it talks about that if principal commissioner or commissioner is satisfied that the activities of the trust or institution are not genuine, if he feels so, or are not being carried out in accordance with the objects of the trust or institution, where the trust of institution is not eligible for exemption, where the trust or institution has not complied with the requirements of any other. सर ये सब कुछ शुरू हुआ जब से आपने देखा होगा कि हमारे यहाँ एनजीओस के ऊपर 16,000 एनजीओस के सर्टिफिकेट ऑलरेडी कैंसिल कर दिए गए एफसीआरए में विद वन स्ट्रोक. एंड कैन यू बिलीव व्हाट वाज द रीजन? बिकॉज बहुत कुछ एनजीओस की आड़ में जो हो रहा है वो हम सब जग जाहिर है. कोई भी देश बर्दाश्त नहीं कर सकता, no country can afford for his unity and sanctity that any foreign body they contribute money to some institute in the guise of some trust or institutions, and they get that benefit out of it. So basically it is in the eyes of the law. The government is basically, you can say they have made their eyes red, that no, we are not going to allow you anything to happen on this, and be careful, we are not going to spare you. So now they have kept this power with them. Earlier this power was not with them. In FCRA it was there, in other institutions it was there, because for foreign contribution. But what was happening? The FCRA contribution was coming here, and that was being utilized by some institutions in such a way that they come back to the domestic institutions of these trust and societies, and that funding was being used for other purposes. So basically they have now come out with a clear mind that we are not going to spare you. We are not going to give you, we are not issuing notices to you after lapse of 2 years. It is basically, it has to be faster. So faster only in that case comes, it's a suo moto. If he's satisfied, he can be satisfied by any means. We all chartered accountants knows that what is the meaning of satisfaction. He has to put it a note of satisfaction that why he's going to, that's a principle of natural justice has to be followed. If he feels if he's satisfied from his, I'm taking my word, feel is not there. If he gets some information, if he gets some concrete information on which he can rely upon, he applies his mind and he is satisfied that the activities of such are to gen. So he immediately, or even it is not being carried out in accordance with the objects of the trust. Now the question comes, I've opened an educational institution. I'm doing a charity on education. Now this COVID came, I started doing medical. So basically that is not covered here. You will be in trouble, sir. You have to be careful. First get it amended. And that is the hardship basically people faced during all this COVID era, that the trusts could not do the way they were doing. Now, the second limb is, if the trust or institution is not eligible for exemption, eligible theining, and got it registered. Now, even if they got it registered, he has a right to recall his registration. He will ask for, no, you are not eligible, and you are not eligible due to one reason or the other. Even today, your modes have changed. Earlier, it may be correct at the time of registration, but now it is not there. Now, the third thing, which is to be read very carefully, section 12AB, subclause 5, subclause B, where the trust or institution has not complied with the requirements of any other law. Now we are not talking about income tax law. Now we are talking about any other law. In an educational institution, the principal or the management committee is taking some money in the garb of something, and they have violated the law. Now on that basis, even his 12-year registration will be cancelled. Principal commissioner has a right to do so after putting a satisfaction note. So basically, earlier it was not there. We were seeing in lots of the cases that 12AB is going on. The person is facing so many problems. The trust is facing problems. Lots of things happens. I'm not going to name any institutions here because I don't want to create a controversy on that. So I'm not putting any religion, any caste, creed or anything. Anybody can be there. But we all know what is happening in those institutions. And now with this benefit, with this power in hand with the commissioner or the principal commissioner, both has the power. There may be a delegated power to them. They have the power that if they feel so, if they say, again, I'm using word fail. I have to take my word back. If they are satisfied that the activities of trust or institutions are not genuine, or they are not eligible, or they are not complied with the requirement of any other law, you are supposed to file a return under FCRA. You did not file. Your 12AB will also do. You are supposed to file an annual statement with educational under some district education officer under educational law prevailing in this state. and you are not complied with, the complaint comes, even your this registration can be cancelled. This may be cancelled. So now basically अगर हो गया है, if it's happened, what will happen? Application for renewal for approval be checked again. I think this slide is being repeated somewhere. I feel so. Now I'm coming to this next part here. Obligations to the statement of donation. Is it there? Yes. This is mandatory furnishing of statement of donation. Devendra ji, how much time is left with me?
We have approximately 30 minutes, sir.
I'll be taking, I think, let's take 15 minutes and then 15 minutes we can take questions. That will be good.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Basically, now it's a mandatory to file a statement of donation, and the society or trust has to issue a donation certificate. Now that certificate is issued, it is similar to the TDS certificate, you say form 1616A, which we are issuing. You are applying online and you are downloading a certificate. It's a form 10BD. It is mandatory to be filed by 31st of May, similar to the TDS dates, if you really see the dates. So what is going to happen? It will come back to the AIS, TIS statements. So I have to put donor's name, amount, all which happens in the month of September or July. I think people will smile on my words that what I am saying they are understanding now. Tax zyada aa raha hai, sir, ATG dal dete hain. Sir, days have gone. And there is a penalty of 200 rupees per day, as in the case of 234. It was there. So one has to be very careful filing this. Rule 18AB has been introduced. This power to the income tax department is coming from Rule 18AB, which talks about, and Form 10BD is the form which has to be filed by 31st May every year. And the first financial year is, sir, 2021 or 21-22 financial year, which is going to close in next 3 months. So this year we have to be careful. So, sir, in my opinion, auditing of a charitable institution is not a charity now. We have to think on the other factors also. Lot of time will go for charity. Jisko karni hai wo kare. Although not for the purpose of this. You have to do your charities in your own ways. But the way we were doing the charities for the institutions, that everybody was saying that I'm running a charitable institutions, and we were also saying, okay, sir, my fees also take it as a charitable. So I think it's not an easy job for everyone to do now. Now, all the organizations, as I told you, they have to issue a certificate. Now that certificate also to be downloaded along with filing of return. So 31st May is both for both. So this, now this is cross-checking of donation. I will love to spend some time on it. I don't have the PPT on it. Honestly, I've tried to put a slide, but the time was short and I was stuck up somewhere else. So what happened basically, that every trust has to file this statement, and that statement will go, as I was talking about Form 26 AS concept, that concept is happening in AIS. I have found it this year also. Some of the institutions have filed, and we are getting this also, that they have donated this much of amount. So I will say it is wrong or right, I don't know, because हमारे पिताजी तो कहा करते थे कि जब आप दान करें तो your right hand should not know what the left is doing. But here I think everybody is knowing, your chartered accountant. So now if you want to get benefits under Section 80G, if you want to get a benefit of 12A, then you have your everything is open now in a domain. So you cannot run away from that. So if you are taking benefits from the government, so now government is also strict on that we will be taking, you are not allowed to do hanky panky things in trusts. So basically all certificates has to be issued. Delay of filing is 200 rupees per day. The motive we all know that the people should file it immediately on 31st May. So if they later on, then again lots of things happens. Penalty on failure to file is 10,000, which is 270k. We all know what is 271 penalties are there. So it is a 1 lakh rupees penalties there. So these are basically for donations. I will go back for some time because I have time here. So I think let us spend some time on the form itself, on the instructions. That was basically, yes. If I go there and you will find that this section codes, I'm basically now taking just 10 minutes of yours. And after that, we can take questions. And Arun, if there are more questions, even I can conclude within 5 to 7 minutes. So I just want to take that time and take the benefit of that.
Sir, there is one question by Deepak Ajad ji.
Only one question.
Yes, sir.
So there are two reasons, Devendra ji, when there is only one question. One reason is there, no one was listening. The other reason is that everyone has understood very completely and there is no question. So in both ways, I am being complimented for that.
May I request to all members, they have asked their question to with Vinod ji in the question answer session and raise their hand.
Put it it's okay. So basically, this is a very be careful while filing the section code, because section code will decide, and we are in the habit of writing straight lines, and now we are going on the American way that you have not given, you don't have a choice to write. हम सबको आदत है वो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी में बड़े बड़े ऐसे लिख के पास होने की, बिकॉज हमारे तो शीट्स खत्म नहीं होती सर लिखते लिखते, हम उस चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी से आते हैं. नाउ देयर इज ओनली टिकिंग. सो बिफोर ticking any section, just go through sub clause 1 of clause AC of read section 1. What does it say? Are you fitting in that? Then you have to read accordingly 12A and section 6. So if you tick it randomly by seeing to the other people what they are ticking, maybe your trust or institution does not fall in that particular clause and you will be in trouble in that case. So I'm just want to spend some time on it because I love this instructions code of the department. Yes. So there are 12 section codes are there, very much clear visible on your screen, out of which 80G, if I say last two are 11 and 12 of 80G, and then section 10, if I talk, 8 are on section 10, 23C. We all know 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 hi aate hain wahan pe. And then 2 are from 12A. So 1 is for renewal, 1 is for original registration. Similarly for 80G, same situation is there. And then there are application of intimation, 5th proviso. Section 35 में अगर आप कोई rebate ले रहे हैं, section 5, 35 के अंदर, then 35, 2, 3, 2A, you have to be careful. Are you a company, university or college, research associations? So you have to be very careful while filling this form 13, 14, 15. 13 to 19 are for those who are availing exemption of 35. However, there may be less people in our webinar. However, I'm looking at that 123 participants are there. It's a wonderful number on 28th of December. So मैं वही कह रहा हूँ, या तो अरुण जी ने information leak कर दी है, that date has been extended. So I am just waiting for the breaking news. So otherwise 123 people watching this webinar is really a tremendous job.
आपकी वजह से लोग बैठे हैं सर इतने, आप इतना अच्छा बोल रहे हो तो कह रहा हूं
you people have done a wonderful job. Then there is a enabling, if you really see, then I'm doing it here. If you see that if applicants select code 11 or 12, religious ka code shall not be applicable. So actually they are explaining each and every row. So we have to read these instructions very carefully. 13 to 9, row 2, row 3 shall not be filled. तो बेकार परेशान होने की जरूरत नहीं, वो भरी नहीं जाएगी. आपने 13 से 19 भरी है, रो 2 कर दी, बस खत्म, रो 3 नहीं आएगी. Row number 4B, 4C, 4D are required to be filled only when answer to question in row number 4A is yes. It will not open up. It will stop there. For the objects, again, there are 7 objects are there and we have to tick it accordingly. Check boxes are there and we have to go. This is clause number 6. If you come here, this is clause number 6. Objects. So we have to be very, this is honestly very dangerous because once submitted, you can take it back. So you have to be very, very, very careful for this. Answer to question in row number 7 should be yes if the applicant is registered with Darpan or under FCRA. If you say yes, then it will ask you the registration number and everything. Add to that. Similarly, after that, it will be asking you the incorporation date. When did you, what is the date of registration? So everything, this is question number 7. Then comes what are relevant law oblique portal. Now it says registration under section 1023C, clause 4, 5, 6, 8. It will be enabled when the following codes are selected. 3, 4, 5 or 6. तो उसके बाद ये मैंडेटरी हो जाएंगे. Then you have to put number of order granting, date of registration. तो गलती से उसको yes मत कीजिएगा अगर आपका नहीं है तो. कोड को जैसे ही आप फिल करेंगे नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ओपन अप हो जाएगा. So one has we need to be. Then registration under section 1046. That calls about number of notification by the central government. Registration under section 12A AB AA AB. To be enabled 01 किया तो मैंडेटरी है. नंबर ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन ये पास्ट आपको देना पड़ेगा. अब कुछ लोग कहेंगे हमारे पास नहीं है. सर सी योर पास्ट टैक्स रिटर्न्स, यू विल फाइंड इट फ्रॉम देयर. आप सर्टिफिकेट ओरिजिनल नहीं है, ओरिजिनल तो खैर चाहिए नहीं, स्कैन ही करके कॉपी लगानी है. यू कैन स्किप इट अप, बट नंबर तो भरना ही पड़ेगा. अगर है तो सेल्फ सर्टिफाई करके लगाइए, नहीं है तो यू कैन पुट एप्लीकेशन अंडर RTI, you can collect it from that this exemption, or you can file an application for certified copy also. Now, similarly, if you are registered under section 35, then you have to put a number. So whenever you say yes, then you have to put registration number everywhere. You can't skip it up later on. So before putting that material inside of you, and then you can do it. Then registration under section 80G. 11, अगर 11 मतलब आपने 11 कोड दिया तो आप पहले से रजिस्टर्ड है, then is asking for number of order, mandating date of registration, jurisdiction, date from which such registration is effective. FCRA again mandatory हो जाएगा अगर आपने किया तो. Registration with Darpan mandatory हो जाएगा, others में हो जाएगा. Now comes आपको select करना है सर कॉलम 9A के अंदर. जब आप रिलेशनशिप पे जाएंगे, you have different categories. You have author, just give me a minute. Yes, you have to select relationship. Are you a author? Are you a founder? Are you a settler? You are a trustee, member of society, members of the governing council. Sir, this may be looking very simple, or I may be looking to boring all of you on this, but believe me, I have tried on at least 30-40 cases, and every time I have to go back and read it. This feature in this that you can't help it. The case of section 8 companies, it says shareholders holding 5% or more, sabhi ka dena hai. So it's not going to spare you. Type of identification we discussed earlier also, that if it is a PAN number, you have to put code 1, then it will ask for PAN. अगर आपने कोड 2 कर दिया और पैन नंबर डालने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं सर, नहीं लेगा, because the schema is like that. It will ask for the number of digits of Aadhaar in that case. If you are selecting 2, then it will not allow you to put PAN in that case. Type of identification, you are given an option here. However, Aadhaar is mandatory in my situation. I feel so. Row number 11 to 20 are to be filled. Then select code 013. The following documents we have already discussed, however, it was a slide there, but still is asking for, these are documents required to be attached. Again, I will say, if you have, attach it. If you don't have, you can put an application for that I don't have and attach it there. And all these documents required to be a self-certified copy, where the applicant is created, established, otherwise other than an instrument. अगर आपको लगता है कि मेरी ट्रस्ट डीड नहीं बनी, मैं तो कुछ और बना था, whatever is there, sir, put it there. Don't ask a question, put it there. जिसको कहते हैं ना, just do it. आप बीच में छोड़ेंगे तो आपके लिए प्रॉब्लम होगी. However, everything will be provisional registration है सर, इसमें ज्यादा दिक्कत नहीं आएगी. You will get it very comfortably. You will get the provisional registration very easily. The problem will come on the renewal time. So by that time you will be having it. I have got, I think, around we have got more than 2022 registrations. It has been done. It has already landed up to us. So all this provisional as well as existing also, we have got it. So there is no issue at all. Then registrar of public trust, that I've told you in Mumbai, Maharashtra, I know other states, there may be, I think in Gujarat also there is a charity commissioner. So you have to put it there. There is a public charitable registration act is also there. So you are getting registered. Then self-certified copies of all these. Then as I told you that if you are in existence, then you have to put application for last 3 years financial data he is asking for. You have to give it. So अगर आप नया ट्रस्ट है या आपने पहले कभी रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं लिया है, even then आप 3 years का financial data यहाँ लगा दीजिए. अगर आपके पास अवेलेबल है, अगर आप रिटर्न फाइल कर रहे हैं तो है ही है, ऑडिटेड हुआ है, आपका 10B में ऑडिट हुआ है, उसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है सर? यू कैन पुट इट हियर. सो दीज ऑल थिंग्स आर देयर. देन if I go by that, yes, he's repeating again and again of the same questions, so same here. So these are the instructions available. So now I don't think any other thing is left for this. Be careful, because all these informations are going to be compiled in your AIS, and we will be doing a webinar on AIS TIS also. That basically this was actually a lot of time had already passed, so there was no question of doing it on 28th of December. So we holded it for some time. So now let us see what new information comes. Like as I told you, then any AIS, and out of every 3 cases where AI being compiled, you are getting, in 2 cases you are getting mutual fund and share transactions, which, and I think government is going to get a good revenue this year from that AIS factor. Even saving bank interest is being declared, which was not there. So lots of things are happening as a cross verification. The department is giving 360-degree radar, 360 radar on all your transactions. And I think in next year they will be giving you some, your all foreign travels and all that. In my case, the person has taken a business class ticket and it is being reported in AIS. So this is all 2-3 lakhs rupees transactions are being reported. Saving bank, 1 rupee transaction of saving bank is being reported in AIS, because it's a basically nothing. It's a software based activity. So bank has given nothing. Simply they are pressing a button and a annual information statement is being filed. Similar things will happen with all the trusts. However, I believe that small trusts should have been exempted, but I think Modi ji does not believe in sparing few people, so that hanky-panky things happens there. And they are basically controlling in such a way, in a mechanical way, that everything, the law is same for all. No banana republic, everybody has to behave in that way. So basically, the annual donation statement, you have to be very careful while filing your form, so that all your donor details, your PAN number of the donor, if it is a cash, then less than a specified amount to be there. It cannot be more than that. Otherwise, he will not be entitled for rebate under Section 80G. So these are the things basically has to be taken care of. So any other thing? So I think I will take myself stop here for the others to put any questions. So anyone? Thank you very much, Arun, for Devender ji, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you Raman Gupta ji, Rajesh Arora ji, Arun Gupta ji, I've sourced the CA Ashok Gupta ji, and Devendra ji. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I'm really thankful.
Sir, you're most welcome. And sir, in the question answer, we have some questions.
Let me take that. So let me stop my slide. I think that will be better. No?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, let us start one to one. Kindly explain the provisions of Deepak Azad sahab.
I request you, Vinod sir, kindly click on the answer live so that other members also see the question.
Okay. Yes, this is saying, sir, kindly explain the provisions of annual filing of donations received by the trust and will it cover both corpus and non-corpus donations? Sir, for corpus donations, it is not there. I think it is for non-corpus, but I have to see. I think 10 BD form is not, it has not come to me yet. So I have to look at it and then get back to you, Deepak ji. I will inform you personally. However, I have explained this section, Rule 18 very clearly. If any question on that, we can see the form and if it is there, you have to go. So that is there. Corpus fund balance can also be used for application towards objects of the trust. Next is again from Deepak Azad sahab. Deepak Azad sahab, बहुत सारे questions आपके chargeable हो जाएंगे. Kindly clarify whether the corpus fund balance can also be used for application towards. No, sir, you are not allowed. You can take a loan from there, but you have to lend it back. It is already decided, I think, so very much clear on that. So there is no question. And if we get FCRA registrations, do because why not to inform the department? That is not a major issue. Anybody can do it. Now next question is from Amarlal Jain sahab. Chaliye, Amarlal Jain sahab ne thodi himmat dikhai. Sir, there is no cross check for hundi collection in case of religion trust, right? In that case, religion trust can easily manipulate collections, right? Sir, this is not the question of manipulation. This is the question of giving benefits to the others. The other people are claiming rebate under section 80G. Once he is claiming a rebate under section 80G, whether the trust has declared income or not, how you can say it is a fake receipt or not, how you can catch hold. As on today, if I talk in 2021 return, if I'm putting a donation receipt printed with a PAN number, however, now for last year, we are mentioning PAN number of the institution, so it can be very much cross-checked. And what was happening prior to that? If you remember that Bangalore case of a non-chartered accountant, I will specifically say who was alleged to be a chartered accountant, but he was not. That was basically a scar on us, unnecessary. He was not a chartered accountant. He was filing tax returns of some of the companies, claiming income from house property rebates, interest on house property, and putting fake donation receipts. But to catch hold of that, this all has happened. And this is, I really welcome all this move, because when we are not doing anything wrong, why should we bother of that? So there is nothing wrong in it. And for that manipulation, if something wrong happens in a religious trust, Jain sahab, believe me, then somewhere we have to spare, sir. Bhagwan ko to chhod de, sir. अब उनके यहाँ भी हम जाके मैनिपुलेशन के लिए हम ट्रस्ट रिलीजियस बना रहे हैं, सर. एक मंदिर की पूजा तो हाथ जोड़ दे. So this is my thought process, sir. I apologize if I hurt you on this part, but I feel that in religious places, one need to be honest. And believe me, my ruler should also believe that nothing wrong happens at religious places. But on the other side, the religious places has to show in that way that it basically is. It is a honest means honest. So then there is one question from Sukhvinder Pal Banasa. Sir, in case voluntary donation of a trust is rupees 7 lakhs in financial year 2021, audit is mandatory under section 12(1)(b) and last date of yes, sir, it is February 15, 2021. No issue at all. So that's my specific reply on that. So there may be different opinions of that, because if you really read the notification of extension, you will find that it is only word audit. It is not word tax audit. Arunji, will you agree with me? Arunji? Any agree with me that this is 15th of February? No doubt out. Any doubt on that?
No, sir, no doubt. You are right, sir.
15th February, sir. Enjoy your life for another 1 month, sir. I think I'm not left with any other questions. So everybody has
in the chat, Vinod sir, we in the chat box also we have some questions. Only sir, 2 questions.
Bhavarlal Jain Sabha.
ये already हो चुका है sir.
Answer the answer, sir. The other one is, sir, appreciating, sir. I will be sharing my PPT with the organizers and they will be sharing with you, sir. Not an issue, sir.
Sir, 2 participants have raised the hand. One is Om Prakash.
You can unmute them, sir. I think Om Prakash.
Om Prakash sir, ask your question to Vinod sir.
Om Prakash जी कैमरा भी खोल लीजिए, अच्छा लगेगा सर, आपको देखेंगे कैसे लग रहे हैं.
Om Prakash sir.
Om Prakash जी.
Sonia ma'am.
Madam Sonia Manchanda, can you please unmute yourself and speak your question? You have raised your hand.
चलिए सर.
Yeah, I have received one question from Sanjeev Chhabra ji. Cremation ground will come under religious trust or not? They charge some towards cost of wood etc. for cremation everyone. सर बड़ा डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन है सर, सबने वही जाना है. अरुण जी क्या कहेंगे सर, क्रिमेशन ग्राउंड को क्या कहा जाए?
सर आज के हीरो आप हो. आप ही बताओगे जी.
Sir, it is it does not fall under, you can say it's a fall under 7th category of advancement में चले जाइए, और क्या करेंगे सर, और तो कोई जगह बचती नहीं हमारे पास. Religious तो नहीं है सर, no doubt. This is advancement of any other object of general utility में जा सकते हैं सर. You can go for charitable, not for religious नहीं कहेंगे सर, क्योंकि religious वो है जहाँ किसी डाइटी की या किसी फेथ के हिसाब से पूजा होती है. यहाँ हम शायद पूजा जो करते हैं, मतलब if I say from my side, तो हम तो डर के करते हैं वहां जाके. वहां का जो माहौल होता है वो एक अलग है, वो उसमें फियर फैक्टर कुछ अलग रहता है.
ठीक है सर.
आई थिंक इट्स चैरिटेबल में ले जाइए, इट्स वेरी कंफर्टेबल. 7 नंबर में आप जा सकते हैं आराम से, बिकॉज बाकी तो उसमें है. एनी अदर थिंग सर?
आई थिंक सारे क्वेश्चन आंसर के जवाब हो चुके हैं सर. एक क्वेश्चन और आया है, ये आपने ले लिया शायद. सुखिंदर पाल जी का क्वेश्चन. अरुण सर कुछ कह रहे हैं आप?
क्वेश्चन आया हुआ है यार.
हाँ सर. सर एक क्वेश्चन और आया हुआ है सुखिंदर पाल जी का.
ले रहा हूं सर. सर इफ एनी रिम्बर्समेंट ऑफ एक्सपेंसेस इज पेड, अदरवाइज तो कोई जरूरत नहीं है वहां दिखाने की. इट इज नॉट अ रिलेटेड पार्टी, ऐसा कुछ नहीं, क्योंकि खर्चा को अब कन्वीनियंस लेंगे तो लेंगे ना सर, क्या कर सकते हो उसमें. बट दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ कन्वीनियंस spent by them, frankly speaking. So no need to disclose it 10B. There is no need for that. But on the other side, but just be careful that it's a genuine one. You don't become a party to that. Auditor not become a party to that, because he has to be very careful now in this new developed scenario where we have landed up. Thank you, Sukhvinder ji, for doing this question. Any other questions, sir? There is sir, last minute, very few minutes are left out.
सर बाकी क्वेश्चन हो चुके हैं. एंड नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट टू अशोक सर फॉर वोट ऑफ थैंक्स.
गुड इवनिंग विनोद जी. आई एम सॉरी, मैं ट्रैवल कर रहा था इसलिए आपकी थोड़ा सा सेमिनार में लेट सुना है. बट जितना भी मैंने सुना है उसमें बहुत ही ज़्यादा अच्छा मुझे ऐसा इतनी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिली है कि जो हम बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट होगी हमारे मेंबर्स के लिए. आपकी डेलिब्रेशंस जो थी आज के सिनेरियो में रिगार्डिंग चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट, दैट वाज वेरी नॉलेजेबल एंड वी वेरी मच थैंकफुल ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ नॉर्थ एक्स सीए स्टडी सर्कल, जो आपने इतना प्रेशियस समय निकाला और हमें गाइड किया इस इम्पोर्टेंट, जो कि हम लोग कई चीजें अवॉइड करते हैं इस चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट से रिलेटेड, बट आई थिंक आपके सलाह के हिसाब से जो आज के सिनेरियो में हमें सब चीजों का ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा आगे, और अपने इसी चीज सबको प्रोफेशनल वे में लेके जाना पड़ेगा। बेशक वो चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट हो या कोई रिलीजियस ट्रस्ट हो, लेकिन हमें अपने प्रोफेशनल वे में सब काम करेंगे तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा। थैंक यू वेरी मच विनोद सर। On behalf of Northex, we give you a small virtual memento. Please accept it on our behalf.
Thank you.
And so we hope that आगे भी आप इसी तरह हमारे स्टडी सर्कल को टाइम देते रहेंगे और डिफरेंट टॉपिक्स पे हमें गाइड करें। Thanks a lot. Thanks विनोद जी। नमस्कार।
Sir, there is the one announcement to our members. Our next annual membership is open. So may I request to all members to take the annual membership as soon as possible. The existing members, the fees is 2,000 rupees, and for the new members is 3,000 rupees. For the both type seminars, physical science webinar, both type seminars, the fees is same. Once again, I thank you to Vinod ji, Arun sir, Ashok sir, Rajesh ji. Thank you sir.
Also,
Thank you very much, sir.
जो इतने लोगों ने क्लोजिंग के बावजूद इतने लोगों ने अटेंड किया, थैंक्स टू ऑल अटेंडीज एज वेल।
Thank you very much
Yes,
to
yes.
all who have more than 100 attendees are still there. It's really lovely. Thank you very much. So
Thank you sir. Thank you so much sir.
थैंक यू, विनोद जी।
Thank you.
Thank you.